is what I've been doing. I've been trying to make the videos better at the end of the day in some sense, and if it means hiring out a racetrack like I did last year for my jet car project, then that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do that again. I'm James Wormsley, and I've got a YouTube channel called Project Air, and it's all to do with DIY aerospace engineering and building crazy contraptions that move usually quite fast and sometimes explode. I've come to appreciate that you should start with a thumbnail and you should literally sketch out what it looks like, and if you haven't got a good idea at the beginning, then that's almost like you shouldn't bother with actually creating anything and putting the many hours into the video that you do end up doing, if it's just not going to perform because you can't think of a thumbnail. I've actually spoken to a lot of YouTube creators who say, "Oh, I've got this great idea, James. I'm going to do this, this, and this, and it's going to be amazing." And then I say, "What's the thumbnail going to be for that?" And they go, "Don't know, not sure yet. I'm going to figure it out." And I have been doing that, you know, for some time, but I've now come to appreciate it. It is really where you need to start. And I mean, that's fine for some people to do that, because it depends on what they really want to get out of YouTube. And if they're just a maker, but if their whole world is making things and being excited about making the actual thing in the video, then they don't have to worry so much about the actual video itself. That's more of a means to an end. Whereas I see the video more as the end thing that you are making. I might be building some sort of rocket or an aeroplane or something, and it might take me a long time, but I need to remember that actually the video is what I'm making, and this is for the video. It's almost like a prop in Star Wars or something, you know. It's like, this is a model which is going to, you know, be a story, and it's going to be its own YouTube video. My videos are quite infrequent. They are to a schedule, so I do one a month, but I found that that's the right amount of time for me as a sort of solo creator to be able to actually produce a quality piece of content in that time with the theme that I have, which is these engineering projects. So with me building something, it actually takes a long time to build it, then it takes me a while to have a window to test it in, because usually I test things outside, and the weather is always a factor in the UK. If I was in California, that might be a bit easier, but and then I have to edit it as well. So that's sort of probably about, you know, a week for each one of those things, so call it a month really. That seems like the perfect amount of time for me to create a quality piece of content. There's an idea that I've picked up on from some other YouTubers of keeping these videos special, and really having one a month lends itself to keeping your video as a sort of one-off treat for your fans. So you can, you know, on social media drip them bits and pieces of what you're working on and get them excited about it. And, you know, if they're really a mega fan, but even if they're just sort of, you know, a casual fan and they have watched all of your videos, but they sort of forget about you between the months that you know, the 30 days you're not posting. As soon as they see that your style of thumbnail pops up and it's got a new exciting project that they want to see, they should click on it. And I think that it really shows in my data that I get returning viewers who are excited about, you know, each new video. So it just, the monthly thing works well for me. In terms of being around people in the industry, I think it's extremely important for students to be exposed to, you know, what's possible. And for me personally, always meeting interesting people is invaluable. Sometimes it can just be one person can just change your whole trajectory. So yeah, I think it's extremely important and invaluable. One piece of advice for people wanting to follow in my footsteps, or a YouTuber's footsteps, would be just get started, just try making something, just have fun with it, and don't take it too seriously. But at the same time, appreciate that there's endless possibilities out there for you to do things, and sometimes it's just making the right choices, and the choices, the one choice could be just to get started. So yeah, what you can do is really limitless. My career highlight so far, probably, I mean, a couple of months ago I built a hovercraft, and I upgraded it with a jet engine, as you do, to go as fast as possible, and riding that along a beach was pretty fun. Sometimes with these projects you might work on something for a whole month or even longer than that, and then it all comes down to like 1 second where it actually does the thing that you've been imagining for that whole time. And yeah, that hovercraft was pretty special.
Amazing.
I would say probably my computer, really. I've been very lucky to have the right equipment for doing all of this stuff. And you know, obviously if you go to uni and you get given equipment to play with, that's great. But yeah, when it comes down to it, having had a computer that can edit videos, and you know, as a tool, that thing has been just, you know, obviously if you didn't have that you wouldn't be able to make videos. So you know, if you look back, I don't know, 40 years ago, when George Lucas was making films and stuff as a kid, or probably a lot longer before that, filmmakers and video makers and documentarians, they just wouldn't be able to start in the same way that you can now, because we have access to these super powerful bits of equipment. So yeah, I mean, everyone's got a camera now in some sense, so a camera I don't think is too important, having a fancy camera, but having a computer where you actually can get down to the business of editing is crucial. There's lots of different people. They tend to be more, like, in terms of, they tend to be more in that world of engineering or like motorsport or aviation, the history of all that sort of stuff, rather than in the video aspect of it. So people like Donald Campbell, who you probably don't know, but the like record breakers who did like the land speed records and stuff like that. Those are my ultimate heroes, you know, racing drivers, people like that. So I don't know, maybe I'm trying to be like them in some way. In terms of converting views to subscribers, I don't think it's really something you should be worrying about these days. YouTube's moved beyond subscribers. Although they still have a subscriber button, it's now black actually rather than red, which is an indication that it might even disappear one day with the latest updates. The views are the thing that I really try and go after. That's for a few different reasons, but I mean, at the end of the day, you just want as many people as possible watching your things, and subscribers are a nice little sort of, you know, feel-good metric. But yeah, I think that I've focused on views for the last few years, or for however long I've been doing it, and I think my views are very much higher than my subscribers on average, and I think that it doesn't really matter what your subscribers are, as long as you're targeting real people. You're trying to make your videos as interesting as possible from the outset in terms of that thumbnail and title, trying to hook people in, and then deliver them an amazing piece of content. They're going to come back for you even if they don't click subscribe, because they will have sat through your whole video and then they'll be served another one by the algorithm. And yeah, that's what I go after. In terms of the budgeting for my videos, each video can vary in terms of how much it might cost. So I actually don't have a very strict policy or you know, a policy of looking at how much everything is costing and sort of, you know, looking at the numbers in detail. It's more a case of just going, okay, I didn't really spend much on that video, so should I buy this jet engine, or should I hire out a racetrack for the next video? Will it make the video better? I mean, am I really going to, is it actually that much money? Probably not. So, I mean, I'm quite fortunate in that YouTube is quite lucrative in some senses, so it can be reinvested, that money, and that is what I've been doing. In 10 years' time, the content I'd quite like to be making is is similar in terms of its format, but bigger and better videos in terms of their ambition and their scale of production. So maybe, you know, it could be getting someone in a similar way with some sort of interesting concept, like, oh, we're gonna turn this Mini into a, you know, we're gonna see how far it goes on batteries or something, but then actually drive it around half the world or something like that. And you don't even promise that in the title or the thumbnail of the video, you just show people that, and then they'll hopefully become instant fans because they'll be blown away by how good this video is. There's that, I mean, in terms of the actual videos, but again, going back to my main original motivation for building things, and, you know, my heroes, the Craig Breedloves and the you know, these people who I've known about my entire lives, building amazing things in their garages. I want to build huge things. I want to build big jet cars and huge, you know, race boats and big aeroplanes, hang gliders, I don't know, whatever. So if I can do that in some way, then that would be mission complete for what I've achieved in my life. I think YouTube is really the place it's at right now, and I think it's going to continue like that it has for the last 10 years. YouTube is on every Android phone that's sold worldwide, which makes up quite a percentage of the total phones in the world, which billions of people have, and it's really pretty much a behemoth. And I think that, yes, there's Netflix out there, yes, there's the BBC, yes, there's all these other platforms, traditional medias and everything, but YouTube is a very democratic, very, you know, level playing field, and it's also quite fair in terms of what comes to the top, I would say. So yeah, I think I'm going to continue doing YouTube as long as it's around and as long as it's a good platform for creators, which I think it will be for a long time.